Hey, boy, you're scaring the birds. I said you're scaring the birds.
You saying something to me?
Why don't you take your mess somewhere else?
Forget you. Turf's up, old boy.
Nigga, please. The riot is over there. It's over there. I suggest you join your homies over there.
What you want, boy?
I'm old enough to be your grandfather. Oh, I see. You don't understand the logic of the thing. The hate and the fear of it. I understand that. And me here, tending the birds.
What? Shooters on my squad, Odu? Huh?
So young and so full of hot air. And your head is so damn empty. Well, let me fill your mind a bit, a little bit of knowledge. But I don't mean none of that. But the divine and the evil, the good and the bad, is my favorite salt and sugar.
You want to talk to me? Life of a savage? What? You trying to be my pops now? Pops up a savage?
Oh, now I'm a savage, huh? Is that what you're calling me? I don't understand it anymore. Everything is all vague. I can't remember nothing no more. I miss my son and my daughter. They all grown and going to college, man. They on their own. Some of them live in Newark. Some of them live in Philadelphia, and they got homes and mortgages. And I miss them all. They're doing good. But I fathered my daughter more than I fathered my son. My son graduated from college, made all state. He's big and strong and flawless, my son. And I never gave him anything. I should. But he looks a lot like you. He's a little taller, but you're shorter than he is.
What are you saying? I ain't your son and you ain't my pops. My pops doesn't care about nothing except for his damn pigeon coop on the roof. Freaking birds. But you see over there? That's my clique, and they waiting, you old Joe.
Oh, so now you find me goddamn funny, huh? Well, let me tell you something. My son called me today, and you know what he said to me? He doesn't want me into his graduation. Love to that boy.
Yeah, homie, I'm a block away. Damn right I got the piece. I'm lit. Them fools gonna get flat out.
You see, here lies the problem between me and you. We don't understand each other, okay? But let me tell you why my son didn't want me to go to his graduation. He never understood love, okay? And he never showed it. And let me tell you one damn thing. And what the hell are you listening to that?
Nigga, go back for some money or something. SOP over there. Snake's over there. And it looks like there's a snake over here too, trying to talk to me. Pops.
Snake? Are you calling me a snake? So now I'm a snake, huh? Why don't you join your homies over there? Maybe they're packing. Maybe you got something too. Maybe you packing. You want to drown in your own blood? You stupid idiot. Go ahead and kill yourselves where all I care.
Yo, remember when you at Life of a Savage? You just gave me an idea. I'ma burn Pop's Scoop to the ground, and he won't know what happened. Just because of you, freaking bird.
Damn! I gave that boy everything! Everything in this world! I gave him love, but he never showed me anything. That's the problem with your boys. You got that goddamn cell phone wrapped in your empty mind. That's all you know about. Clinton, Reagan, and now this damn dude called Trump. That's all you know. Killing each other, shooting each other in your own blood. Go ahead and kill each other. I don't give a damn. I'll never be your pops. And damn it, I'll never will be either. I gave that boy everything. Everything I...
Watch it, old man. I'll bet you faster than them fools want to get right now. Feed your fucking bird.
I gave that boy everything. Everything. I'm honest. I pay my taxes. I never lied and I never cheated. And I support both of my children. He doesn't want me to come to his graduation. He don't want to see me. Forgive and forget. And this is what I get? This is what I get? Damn, damn, damn! Damn!
Jamal Mason. I am the co-producer, cinematographer, and the writer for our short film, The Old Man, Trap Music, and the Riot. We have done this before, this forum called The After Talk, for a previous film entitled The Miseducation. And this film that you've just watched is a continuation of that theme, that genre, dealing with the relationship between human subjects, and in particular human people of the African diaspora, men and women of color. More importantly, this film deals with the relationship between generations, the older generation and the younger generation. So I wrote it because it is an examination, a dialogue, in a creative sense, which looks at how an older man and a younger man are continually kind of conflicting because of their inner notions and desires, feelings, which stem from a sense of humanity. Young men of color have a distinctive set of challenges, be it guns or violence, or in this case, the influence of trap music. Now, we can always argue, does trap music really affect in a negative way young people, or does it not? In my opinion, it does have its negative side to it. But that's a dialogue that, you know, we should have. Does trap music, in fact, affect black males adversely, particularly in the inner city? And then we have, of course, the middle-aged black man who's dealing with familiar things. He has a son, he has a daughter, both mature, both adults, living their lives. And he has his own set of baggage when it comes to, well, did I raise my son right? Or what mistakes did I do? This is a human conundrum that I've set up. Oh, as a footnote, before we do begin, I kind of modeled this film according to Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea. So let's start by introducing our first our actor, brilliant man, Mr. David Morris. How are you, David?
I'm fine. How are you?
Welcome, 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 sir.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. We've worked before. This is great. I'm honored to be able to have this moment with you. So my first question, and we're going to do this, systematically. My first question to you is, as a man of color, particularly an older man of color, what is your perspective on the culture that you live in?
Well, in my answer, compared to what, as far as my generation, I'd like to say that we had it better. We didn't have it that better than the younger generation of today. There were computers, but it was very timid. The songs we listened to were meaningful and it had words in it. And as far as being black, we were trying to get our act together, starting to open up doors and stuff like that. But that all changed because by the 1970s, it was all gone and it got worse right down the line. Music I be listening to now have no words. I don't understand it. But when hip hop started to come out, it had words in it. It meant something. It was original and it had words to it. Now the words are totally blank. I just stopped from there. Okay? I mean, after Houdini, I just stopped from there. Okay? It didn't have any meaning to me. It was violence. And it made me stop and wonder, as a older person, what have we done? I mean, we opened the doors for them and this is what we get. And from what I see, to answer your question, from what I see from here to now, it makes me scared sometimes. I just can't talk to young people as much as I want to. Some I can get across, some I can't.
There was a core value system in place for your generation, in mine as well. We were raised by parents who valued integrity, I believe. And to go out on a limb, I believe that there's a big challenge in our community, in the black community, where this new generation, the millennials, so to speak, don't have that aspect, that component to them. Would you agree with me, yes or no? And so
I agree with you in some point, Jamal, but in all respect, these young black kids, they don't appreciate what's happening, okay? They take advantage of what's happening, okay? You can lead a horse to water, but brother, you can't make him drink it. And some, like I said, some you can get across, some you can't, okay? But I'm gonna tell you something. If I see some dude in the hallway smoking reefer and I tell him to stop, they'll say, well, who are you to tell me to tell something like that? I don't know. But when you try to be like, okay, look, do you want to be like those guys over there? Because you'll never make it to third base, son. You understand? Okay? What do you accomplish doing that? You see, they'll see something. They either see it when it's too late and they push and they kicking daisies, or they see it when they line up in the hospital and they about this close to meeting their maker.
What would you do to solve or resolve or begin to resolve the miscommunication?
Well, you should try to change things and turn it around. I can't say make them look at history, okay? But if they don't know what they're in for now, they oughta. Because when you got Trump and all these other things, you better watch out. And you know who you got to thank, though. You tried to educate black kids. Hey, look, you got a good thing here, okay? Get off the welfare and make that $12 or $11 an hour. And when I used to do security in the 1970s, I made like $5 an hour, okay? And in this century, you see security guards making like $10, $11 an hour.
Right.
I mean, damn, you know what I'm saying, okay?
Right.
So I know the city's in a crisis because of license and everything, but wake up. I mean, y'all got computers and everything. You're using it as games. Okay, why don't you use it to look up, to get a job out of that? Never mind.
Well, that's one way to resolve it. So, Mr. Morris, God bless you. Thank you. This is a dialogue that I believe it needs to continue.
How would you stop the miscommunication?
Now we're going to get directly into the second half of our talent, of our cast. Phenomenal young man, brilliant young man with a very bright future, and a very creative talent as an actor as well. Without further ado, hello, Mr.
Hello.
Blake Tunstill. How are you, sir?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm good, I'm good. Okay, so let's get into the first question. Is that all right? Okay, the first question is this. As a young man of color, what is your perspective on the culture that you live in?
Well, to be real, I have a few different perspectives on the culture of black people nowadays. Because if you look at it, all the music and all the fashion and different things like that, all different races want to try to copy us. But when it comes down to the seriousness of your skin color, all the people, everybody wants to act like they don't want to be black at that because of our skin or because of what happened, so they try to be racist to join with what everyone else does.
Okay.
And I feel that the songs and the music, even though I personally listen to it, it's kind of bad because it's giving people different and wrong impressions on black people, making different races think that all blacks are bad and are going to kill you and do drugs and things that aren't even really true, just saying it to get the people's entertainment.
Let's talk about trap music, being that that's one part of the title, Old Man, Trap Music in the Riot. Now, what do you think of trap music? I mean, what is your opinion about trap music?
I mean, I listen to it, I like the beats, and I just like, I'm not really sure, but sometimes I get a gist of what they're actually saying, and it's not good things that they're saying.
Right, right.
And I feel that if they would talk about something that's more important, something that actually has a true meaning and true value, instead of just talking about a bunch of nonsense that nobody even really understands is going to use in their real life, the only thing that it's really doing is like influencing people to do those things that are just going to get them end up in jail or dead.
See, Blake is highly intelligent, and you're part. You've been actually. I can see you've been raised to understand, to be objective about it. I'm a high school English teacher in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, and I have kids, right, who know all the lyrics, back and forth, and they actually kind of they live the life. They live that trap life, the trap music life. The trap, I believe, is like a drug house, right? So trap music is affiliated with drugs, guns, and sexuality. But you, however, are able to say, hey, I don't want to be a part of that. If you were to have a conversation, just you and one of the kids I teach, what would you say to them? I mean, to kind of help.
That it's all fine to listen to it and stuff like that, but make sure before you listen to it and memorize all the songs and the lyrics, actually get a good education, because that way you'll be able to understand more of what they're talking about and be able to not let it influence your brain into doing what they're doing and going your path without letting it influence you.
Okay. Do you think technology has anything to do with trap? Like, do you think trap music, cell phones, and the access that you guys have to all this information have any kind of a relationship?
Yes.
How so?
Because if it weren't for phones and all of that, a lot of people wouldn't even know what half the stuff they're talking about in the songs mean. Because now if you hear a song, you hear a lyric that you want to know what it means, they just search it up. Oh, it means that and that. Now I know what it means, and now I could try to copy it and do what they're saying.
Okay. Things like Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. How do all those things influence you?
I mean, in both a good and a bad way, because I could learn about different things that are going on in the world now. I could also get a good laugh from it if something's going wrong, if I'm having a bad day or whatever like that. So it's both a good and a bad thing.
How does, if at all, this culture that we're living in today and your age affect your relationship with the older generation?
Well, it makes it a little bit harder because we both have different perspectives and views on how to do things. Like kids or younger people want to go outside, play around, play video games, watch movies, use electronics. Our older people want to clean and have you do chores and read books and cook and do stuff that younger people just don't want to do and don't have the attention span to do at all.
Well, let's look at it this way. When you're in school with your friends, right? and a teacher says, Blake, don't do that. I mean, don't do that. I mean, you or I don't know if anybody does. I mean, you're very well-mannered and just an awesome young man. But let's say someone in your clique or your group says, stop talking in class or don't do this, put your phone away, get off of Instagram, just please obey me. What do you think is the one or two of the main challenges between your generation and, say, your teacher's generation or my generation?
That concerning the fact that they're a little bit older and also that they're a teacher, they want you to spend your whole life studying and doing absolutely nothing that's that fun. And some teachers out there are just extremely boring and all their lessons have nothing to do with anything. Well, it does have stuff to do with what you're learning, but it's not fun. Like, I have certain teachers that would try to incorporate electronics and different things into it.
Oh, that's cool.
To have the kids understand it better and make it easier for them to understand and have fun with it.
One final question for you. How would you begin to solve the problem of the miscommunication between people in the African diaspora?
I say that all African Americans should try to get a good education first before anything else like that. And keep all your hobbies. Keep your hobbies, but make sure your education is first. And second, in all the music, it's all good and stuff, but make sure the music has actually a true value and could teach our youth that most of the listeners are learn something from it, instead of just learning a bunch of stuff that they're not even going to use in real life, unless they have a bad influence on it. How would you stop the miscommunication?
So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Bianca Jordan, who's also my fiance and my partner in Integrity Pictures, JM. So without further ado, let's get started. Nice pleasure to see you, Bianca.
Hi.
Hello, sweetie.
It's good to be here. It's great to be here.
Yeah. So, and it was a great shoot. You know, we shot in the snow, and it was freezing cold.
Oh my gosh. I have so much respect for people who shoot outside for several hours. And like the actors,
Troopers.
they didn't even put gloves on.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh. Like I was like bundled up in like 7 layers. And like the actors, they were just going from take to take. I'm like, dude, they are soldiers.
So, you know, just in terms of logistics, what are some things that you wanted, what are some visions that you saw creatively that you got done, that you wanted to get done, just in terms of the essence of the theme or the topic?
Well, it's funny that you were speaking with Blake earlier and you were speaking with David about the relationship between the older generation and the younger generation.
Right.
For me, when you're talking about vision, for me, I get my visions from books. Like when I read books, I can visualize, in my perspective, everything that's happening in the book. And so when I read the script, the images started to come. I knew that it was going to be in a park. I didn't know what park, but I knew it was going to be in a park, and I knew that I wanted some sort of water background, and I also knew that I wanted birds. You know, I don't know why birds came up. I mean, because it was in the script, but I really, you know, if you know about the Maya Angelou book and the poem, Why Does the Caged Bird Sing?
Right, of course.
And it talked about how if a bird, when you think about birds, birds are about being free, and they fly. Not only do they fly, but think about like eagles, they soar. And when you put a bird in a cage, they're not able to reach their full potential.
It's an oxymoron of sorts.
Exactly.
It's like a bird is unable to fly. What is the purpose of that? What is the meaning of that bird's wings?
Right. And I feel like, honestly, and I'm going to speak frankly, with African American people of the African diaspora, I will say, often we are caged as a people, not individually, because there are those of us who do soar and fly, but as a people, if you look at us, we are caged. And I thought I wanted the birds in the background because I wanted to put a light on this issue of particularly the relationship between an older man and a younger man and how there's a disconnect. But I wanted the background to be the birds of how it should be, that there should be freedom and that water is like a symbolism of nourishment and life. And I wanted that to be the background of this story of how it should be versus what's in front of you, this disconnect and how it is.
Right. In terms of the old man, trap music, and the riot, how did you combine those three elements?
That's a good question. The old man was clearly, I felt like, represented the older generation and how we are constantly talking about we don't understand the youth and these kids today and blase. So we needed the character itself pretty much represents himself, and the things he's saying, hopefully people at home that are watching will be able to see either themselves or someone that they know, or be able to at least relate to what he is speaking on, is in the terms of having difficulties understanding. The trap music is the actual music that will sort of be in the background of the film, because I feel like trap music does have a message. It's very, very blatant message, and honestly, it's disturbing. Watching trap music videos, but I understand that those men, I actually started to research the actual popular trap music artists, and I began to learn things about them that I'm like, okay, I see why they're creating this music. I see their reasoning for it. So they have a message they're trying to give too, and I feel like if it's aggressive. That's the word I want to use, because I don't want to. People should express them. People should have the freedom to express themselves. But there's an aggressiveness to trap music, which to me is a message saying I'm not being heard, and I'm going to be heard by any means necessary.
Right.
The riot is, to me, is the clashing of the two generations not understanding each other. So the actual dialogue itself, that's how I saw the title.
Okay. How would you continue the reflection and the resolution of these miscommunications?
Well, resolution is up to whoever's watching, because as a filmmaker, you put the message out. It's up to those at home to be able to take the messages prayerfully from our films and say, well, what can I do to stop the miscommunication?
Well, thank you so much. It was a blessing and a pleasure working with you.
It was a pleasure.
How will you stop the miscommunication?